Hey everyone's Jackal Wolf coming at you with something different, something new on my channel. This is Feed the Beasts Inferno. This is a new mod pack that's just come out very recently, and it can only be described as a lava block style map. So like a skyblock map where you're above a void on an island, or a stone block map where you're underground surrounded by stone, this is a nether only map. So similar to the other ones, we kind of got limited resources to start, and we got to kind of build a lot of things from scratch. So like my other tutorial videos, we're going to try to keep these ones fairly short. This is going to be how to start Inferno. But before we get started, now would be a great time to click on that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're alerted every time I post a new video to my channel. Also, if you're enjoying my content and you want to support, click on the join button down below. Check out all the perks I've got available for my community members. Alternately, you can check out my Patreon page. There's a link down below in the description. But enough about that. Let's get back to the video. So, like I said before, this is how to start Inferno. As you can see, this is a brand new world. We do start with this little structure here. It will randomly spawn in a different biome. Right now, we're in an undergrowth. Now, this doesn't really change up things on the top. You may get a few extra resources, like we got a couple of trees over there. I've got these grass things right here. Other than that, all it's going to do is when you do go down into the nether, it's going to change the biome that you start in down there. But that's a little advanced from where we are right now. We've got some basic stuff we got to do first. First off, though, let's take a look at our starting inventory. Number one, we've got the Shroom of Illumination. So this is a handy little thing to have on us. It provides a little bit of light. I'm going to go keep that in my offhand for these videos, though, just to kind of keep things lit up a little bit more. Because we're in the nether, I do have my brightness turned all the way up for recording purposes, but it still gets pretty dark pretty easily in the nether. Next up in our inventory, though, we've got 5 Inferno's Mercy. Now, these look like golden apples, but there's a little tooltip right in there, not for eating. That's because we're going to need them for a recipe in the immediate future. Last up, we got the Soul Fire. This is the soul version of the campfire. And again, it's going to be very, very useful, so you definitely don't want to lose it. Now, like most of the packs I like, there is a very, very good quest book that we've got to kind of skip through a couple of intro pages first before we get into the meat of the pack. Starts off here on the Inferno sort of splash page, and there is a story thus far, A Voice in the Darkness. Clicking on that, there's a little bit here to read. I'm not going to read it for you. This is just a little bit of flavor to the world. When you're done reading, click on the little check mark, collect your a second chance. You definitely don't want to have to hold on to this. It's going to come in handy. You are fighting in the nether. Once you're done with that page, we can close that one down. On the left-hand side of the screen here, we got a couple more tabs. We've got the Sanctuary, which is probably the easiest one to do. And then we've got a Dark Forest, which is kind of the basics of the starting area here. So because it's so simple, we're going to go click on that Sanctuary tab first. Click on the quest here, A Light in the Darkness. Again, a little bit of reading here. Clicking on the check mark will automatically give us a couple of buffs. Now, they only last for 10 minutes. I suggest holding on to this for the future. Right now, we're on the top of the nether. There are 0 possible spawns here. So we're as safe as we're going to get in this world. So that brings us to a Dark Forest tab. Like I said, this is the important tab. It's the one that's going to help us progress through this pack. Now, up in the top corner here, there's a couple little tool tips. Number one, intentional game design. Just because colonists can sleep in beds doesn't mean you can. So this is something you've really, really got to remember. Everybody knows sleeping in a bed in the nether is super, super dangerous. Next up, not all dogs go to heaven. So this is just going over what I said before. We're on top of the bedrock. Nothing's going to spawn. Keep in mind, there is a foxhound out there that you can tame. That's going to, sort of complete this quest. Next up is the top book here. This brings up an explanation of the quest system. Basically, feel free to read it, but the different shapes of quests will give you a little bit more info. So, for example, we are on an info quest because it's got that little gear shape. When you're done reading, click that check mark, collect your builder's tea, collect those XP levels. Next up is the second info quest. This basically goes over what we're talking about on the tab. So if we go over here, it's going to bring up the different chapters. As we progress through the pack, we're going to end up unlocking more and more quests. So we're just going to go click that one. No rewards for that. So that's it for the basic info quests. I don't want to spend too much time on them because they're fairly intuitive. As far as getting into the actual gameplay, what we're going to do for this episode is we're going to focus on the first 5 quests and this one little side quest over here. First off, we've got It's All Uphill From Here, Gather Flint. So for this quest, we got to gather ourselves 4 flint, and there's 2 basic ways of doing it. First off, we can complete this Demon's Dream Fruit quest, which actually gives us 4 flint, or we can go out into our world and we can find some flint on the ground. Now, this is fairly common around here. What you'll find more of is the black stone. With our bare hands, we can't actually break the black stone. If I continue all the way, it's just going to disappear. So we don't get any drops from that. But as far as the flint go, we can actually go and break this proper. And there we go. We picked up 4 flint. We're going to go collect our rewards, which are 4 brown mushrooms, 4 red mushrooms, and an infernal effigy. So basically we get to choose from 4 starter structures. There's the Blood Fountain, the Cozy Cottage, the Lava Grotto, and the Piglin Obelisk. This is totally up to you to which one you're going to start with. I'm going to pick the Cozy Cottage because as this is a tutorial series, I don't want to give myself too much of a leg up, and I'm going to want to be building those other resources from scratch. So really quickly, we're going to jump out of that, and we're going to select it in our hand. If we look at the description, this one here is a 9x9x9 structure. I think some of the other ones might be a little bit smaller. There might be one that's slightly bigger than this. When you go to place this, you want to make sure that there's nothing in the area that you care about being destroyed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and right click it, and then you can see it comes up with a little bit of a preview. With the left click, we can rotate it, and then with the right click, we place it. As you can see here, I've got a nice little cozy starter house. We can kind of go inside. There's not much here. We've already got a little campfire, which is kind of a bonus, but it hasn't really given me any sort of benefit that's going to keep me from crafting something or showing you guys how to do it. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the Demon's Dream Fruit. That's because I'm going to need a little bit extra flint. I could go out find some more in the world, but because we've got this quest available, we might as well do something with it right now. So really quickly, I can cook golden apples in the campfire to make Demon's Dream Fruit. This is where those 5 golden apples that we were given originally are going to make sense. If somehow you've already managed to eat them or lose them, there's the optional quest in the quest book, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. All you're going to do is click on the check mark, you get an extra apple. If you lose this one, I think you are done and you're going to have to restart a world. Thankfully, you're not going to be far enough into it to really make that much of a difference. So part 2 of the quest, we could use our campfire in there, or we can use our starter campfire. I'm just going to place it down for the moment. We're going to take our 5 golden apples. We're going to put them on the campfire, and then very quickly, they turn into some Demon's Dream Fruit. Now, I'm going to save these other 2 golden apples just for the future. Don't really need them. And actually, there we go. I was missing a 3rd one. And that's going to give us our 4 flint. Now, we're going to need those extra flint to make ourselves a flint pickaxe. Now, this is a very simple recipe. You don't need a 3x3 crafting table. In a simple 2x2 crafting area, you just need to place 3 flint, either in a top right corner or a top left corner. That's going to get us a flint pick head. 2 more pieces of flint in the crafting area, one on top of the other. That gets us a flint tool handle. And then a flint tool handle and a flint tool head in a crafting area will get us a flint pickaxe. And there you go. There's another quest down. That rewards a flint repair kit, which also opens up this little info quest. No rewards for it. It's just a bit of information about exploring in the nether. Next up, we got the Flint and Blackstone quest, Burn People. I don't know why it says Burn People. It's made of blackstone and not steel. Whose idea of expert was this? This is just basically saying it's a flint and steel that's not made out of steel. But for it, we're going to need some blackstone. Fortunately, we've got tons of blackstone around here. I can see there's these little blackstone patches, up on top of the nether. Now, I'm going to want a fair bit of this blackstone for the next episode. What I'm going to do is I'm going to vein mine this area or excavate this mine. I'm not too sure which one is in the pack, but basically if you hold down the tilde key or the grave key and then mine the area, it mined up a full stack of that material. I'm just going to go down and grab it. And you know what? It ate up quite a bit of my flint pickaxe. That's okay. One of those rewards I got was a flint repair kit. We can just go put the 2 in a crafting area, pull it out. We've got a repaired pickaxe. Now, to make that flint and steel, we're going to go add 1 of the blackstone, 1 of the flint, we've got our Flint and Steel. That's absolutely perfect. So we'll jump in, complete that quest that gets us a mushroom stew. One other thing that vein mining does is it really eats up some of your hunger. So what we're going to do is we're going to go munch and fill that back up again. Now the last thing we want to do is we want to make ourselves some Spiritfire, watching the world burn. Basically what this is telling us is that if we take a Demon's Dream fruit, light it on fire, we're going to get some Spiritfire. And this is something we're going to need to craft up some more useful items. Now, because it is a flame, I'm going to actually want to put it in a somewhat safe place. So let's go over in this area. We're going to take a Demon's Dream fruit. We're going to toss it on the ground. I'm going to back up so I don't accidentally pick it up. And then we're going to go and light that on fire. Now, it does consume the Demon's fruit when we do that, but you can see we've got that quest for making the Spiritfire, and then we're going to take our rewards, Demon's Dream fruit, and some Spirit torches. And there you go. Those are the beginning steps on how to start Feed the Beasts Inferno mod pack. Keep an eye out for some more of these videos. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.